You're still watching Newsday here on Arise News. Moving on now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says that the ongoing voters' registration exercise has recorded more than 10 million new votes. In an update, 10 million new voters. In an update of current registered voters, INEC said that 10,487,972 Nigerians have registered for the Permanent Voters Card, the PVC. INEC notes that those that have completed their registration stood at 8.6 million, comprising 3.2 million that registered online and 5.3 million who did physical registration. INEC report shows that 58% of the new registrants are youths. It would be recalled that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, earlier confirmed it will extend voter registration as a result of the large turnout of prospective voters and that it will deploy more machines for the process. INEC National Commissioner and Chairman Voter Education, Festus Okoye, joins us now to speak on the newly released figures of registrants, extension of voter registration, and other electoral matters going into the 2023 elections. Thanks so much for joining us on Newsday.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, let's start with the extension of the deadline. For how long has it been extended, and do we have enough time for those who newly registered to also collect their PVC before the elections in 2023?
Well, what the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission said was that the commission was going to extend the period for registration, but the exact time frame has not been announced. As you are aware, we are supposed to appear in court before the Federal High Court tomorrow relating to a matter that was filed by a civil society organization. So there's a possibility that depending on what happens tomorrow, the commission will meet and announce the exact time frame within which we can extend the voters' registration period. But in the interim, we have made it very clear that the CVR will go on beyond the 30th day of June. We have also, in the interim, deployed additional equipment to all the states where we recorded some level of surge. Previously, we deployed a total of 209 additional IVED machines to some of the states. But just yesterday, the Commission deployed additional number to other states where we recorded surge. And then we have also made it very clear to our resident electoral commissioners that they can also carry out registration on Saturdays and also extend the period of registration from 3 p.m. up to 5 p.m. on ordinary days. So we are taking all necessary measures to make sure that we make the CVR exercise as seamless as possible.
Thank you so much, sir. Surely you are excited or at least happy about the fact that a lot of individuals are now interested in picking up their PVCs, applying for their PVCs and such. But we do know that there will be logistical and financial implications to all of these improvements. And we've obviously seen a surge in the interest of Nigerian youth in the political space. My question now is, will it be possible for all of them to pick up their cards in time, as we do see those numbers are staggering, and we know that it's individuals that are running INEC and are doing everything physically? Will it be enough time?
Well, we see this particular surge and we see this particular interest as an affirmation of the confidence the Nigerian people have in the ability of the Independent National Electoral Commission to conduct free, fair, credible and transparent as well as inclusive election. We also see it as a re-engagement by the Nigerian people with the electoral process. So we are going to make it possible, especially for the new registrants, to get their names on the voters' roll. But we cannot do the continuous voters registration exercise ad infinitum. Section 19, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022 makes it mandatory that the Commission shall appoint a period of 7 days within which to display the voters register in the 8,809 registration areas and in the 774 local government areas for claims and objections. And this should be done not later than 90 days to the election period. Section 9, subsection 6 also says that we should finish everything relating to the voters registration exercise in terms of registration, in terms of review, in terms of update, not later than 90 days to the a period for the conduct of elections. So the implication is that we need to sort out issues around claims and objections early enough, and then subject the entire data to automated biometric identification system to remove double and multiple registrants. And thereafter, we have to print the voters, the permanent voters card of all the new registrants and make them available for collection, both in our local government offices and also in the various registration centers. And that is why we want to finish this CVR on time, get all the cards ready, and then conform to the timeline of October that the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission has promised the Nigerian people, within which the cards will be ready. So we want to conclude things as quickly as possible.
All right, Mr. Okoye, talk to me. Because from the data I have in my phone before me, there are talks that the youth make up 58% of this particular number we've been brandishing. But voter apathy is still very high, and people are not turning out for elections, because it's one thing to say that we have this particular number of people registered for the PVCs, and on the day of the election, we do not see that reflective on the number of people that come out to vote. What is the Independent National Electoral Commission doing to ensure that we have more people come out to exercise their franchise on the day?
Well, I have a feeling that the 2023 election will be a game changer, that the 2023 election will witness a completely different trajectory in terms of voter turnout. The Commission has intensified this advocacy and enlightenment campaigns. Not only that, we have also imputed more technology into the way we do electoral business. And that is why political parties now file their nominations online. We have introduced the beavers with which we authenticate voters on election day to prevent people who are not supposed to be at the polling unit from being there on election day. Not only that, we also made it possible for the younger generation of Nigerians who have smartphones and who have other electronic gadgets to go online and carry out their registration. We have also created additional polling units and taking these additional polling units closer to the people, and also decongested the existing ones. So I believe that with more enlightenment, with more engagement with especially the younger elements in our country, and also with good governance, more people will engage the electoral process and more people will come out to vote. But that is also dependent on the level of security the people feel. And that's why we're also discussing with the various security agencies under the auspices of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security for them to, as quickly as possible, degrade to a large extent some of the internal challenges we have in terms of security in various states, so that on election day, people will feel confident to come out to vote. People will feel confident that when they come out to exercise their franchise, that nothing untoward will happen to them. And so we are doing our possible best to make sure that we make the atmosphere conducive enough for people to exercise their democratic franchise.
Now, during the Ekiti State gubernatorial election, which is believed to be a test run of what 2023 would look like, there were reports of widespread vote buying. What measures have been taken to prevent this from happening in 2023?
Well, one of the things that the Commission did was to recalibrate the way we frame our polling units by making the compartment for thumb printing as secret as possible. But the law says that we must do what we call open secret voting, in which case you thumb print in secret and cast your vote in public. And that is what some people have been exploiting. During the Ekiti governorship election, we collaborated with the ICPC, we collaborated with the EFCC and the other security agencies, and we have been assured that some arrests have been made and that some of them will soon be prosecuted. But the Commission is still canvassing that the best way to break the cycle of impunity in this country is by creating an Electoral Offences Commission and Tribunal that will be charged with the sole responsibility of arrest, investigation, and prosecution of electoral offenders. At the level of the Commission, we believe that we are more concerned with organizing, undertaking, and supervising election, and do not really have that requisite capacity to take on the issue of prosecution of electoral offenders, because some of the offenders may likely be staff of the Commission.
And speaking of offenders, sir, and also these Ekiti elections, we do know what the state of the country is in. We know there are spates of insecurity in certain pockets of the nation. We also know that election season brings out some non-state characters who are acting violently for whatever reason. We know that in the Ekiti elections, it was very fortified. There was military presence. There were unarmed security presence at the polls and such. I'm wondering what the rollout for the rest of the elections will be, knowing that heavy security presence can also cause a bit of a discomfort with the society or population, because sometimes there's a bit of miscommunication between the security officials and the people who are actually there to exercise their civic rights. So my question would be, what is being done to make sure that security is ramped up for the elections, but also that tensions are doused just in case of miscommunications between the police and the polity?
Well, I think that at all times the Commission must find a balance between adequate security and also giving the people confidence that they can come out to vote without any challenges, especially from the security agencies. At the level of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, we'll be meeting with the heads of all the security agencies at the national level. Where the chairman of the commission chairs the committee, and the National Security Advisor is the co-chair. At the state level, the resident electoral commissioner is the chair, and the commissioner of police is the co-chair. And then at the local government level, we also have the electoral officers and the divisional police officers. So we have been looking for a synergy, some level of synergy within the agencies and the commission. And we are going to carry this synergy into the 2023 general election. But as at now, the commission is properly and comprehensively focused on the Osun governorship election. And as you know, the Osun governorship election is coming up on the 16th day of July. So we have left the Ekiti governorship election. We have drawn lessons from our performance during the Ekiti governorship election, and we are now comprehensively focused on the Osun governorship election, which we want to be better than the Osun governorship, than the Ekiti governorship election.
All right, Mr. Okoye, since you mentioned the Osun governorship election that is happening next month, the PDP chapter of the state, through a statement by Dr. Akindele Adekunle, has accused the Independent National Electoral Commission of holding PVCs in that state. How do you react to this?
Let me say this. As of today, the total number of registered voters in Osun stands at 1,955,567. Out of this number, over 80% have already collected their permanent voters' cards. And the report we got from the resident electoral commissioner for Osun State, as at yesterday, is that more people are streaming in to come and collect their PVCs. So there's a high level of interest in terms of people showing up to come and collect their PVCs. I want to encourage political parties to encourage their supporters who have not collected their PVCs to approach our local government offices and our and the other registration areas where we are distributing the PVCs to collect their PVCs. This particular commission has been very transparent. This commission is open. We have nothing to hide. By next week, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission will go on a pre-assessment tour or readiness assessment in Osun State, and we are going to tour some of the local governments and see how they are preparing. I can assure you that the commission is making these PVCs available, but people must collect these PVCs in person. There cannot be any collection by proxy. So anybody who wants to collect the PVCs by proxy is wasting his or her time. We are not going to give anybody any PVC that the person is not entitled to. So if you want your PVC, make yourself available, go and collect it by yourself. Nobody can collect the PVC for you.
Mr. Okoye, earlier you talked about INEC deploying more machines to polling you to areas where there's an upsurge. But we've had complaints that some people have been discriminated against due to their ethnicity. How is INEC reacting to this?
Well, as far as the commission is concerned, the constitution is very clear. The Electoral Act is very clear that people are entitled to register as voters when they turn 18, and that even if you have never registered before, that you are entitled to register and you cannot be denied the opportunity of registering. The law also says that you can register where you reside, you can register where you work, or you can register, in fact, anywhere you want to register. The law permits you to register in that particular place, and you cannot be discriminated against. We have investigated some of those complaints, and we are still also waiting for reports from some of our resident electoral commissioners where some of those issues were raised. But in some of those places, we have deployed additional machines to make sure that everybody who wants to register gets to register. And I want to assure you and assure the Nigerian people that this commission will register all those who show up. And we are going to deploy additional machines. We are going to increase the period within which we register voters. We're also going to increase the days of registration. And then we're also going to extend the period of registration. And we are going to make sure that this number goes down. But let me advise, because it's a huge challenge. So many of the people who are thronging to the registration centers are not supposed to be there. If you are 18 years and you have never registered, you can go to a registration center and register. If you have never registered before, you can go and register. But if you have ever registered before, you want to do transfer, you can go online and do your transfer. If you have lost your PVC, you can still go online and do your transfer. If your PVC is damaged, you can still go online and do transfer. But don't go and register afresh, because if you do, your second registration becomes invalid, and we will leave your first registration. On election day, you will go to the new place where you think you registered, and you will not see anything, because we will not even print your card. Please, people should know that this is not a fresh registration. We already have over 84 million registered voters. This registration is for those who have never registered before and those who have turned 18 years and above.
Mr. Okoye, I actually don't think that is something that we shouldn't be repeating all the time, because a lot of people are confused as to which status their INEC cards are in, their PVC cards, whether or not they've expired or whether or not they can do it online. So it's good to know that there's some functions that you can do online and not physically, so as not to clog up the system. And I just want to briefly ask you, what is it personally that you are excited for this election season? I know that you have been working hard with the committee and with INEC, and seeing as how things are going and trying to keep things on a positive side, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to in a positive way between now and when election season kicks off fully in February of next year?
At a personal level, I'm surprised at the level of enthusiasm that has been shown by the younger generation of Nigerians. Their resilience, their courage, and their engagement with the electoral process this time around is really, really unprecedented. And if they show this type of enthusiasm during the election period, I think that we should be looking at a very positive future for this country, because these are the young Nigerians, these are the educated ones, these are the ones who can look at the manifesto, look at the ideology of political parties and make rational choices and also make rational decisions. And so I'm really encouraged by the enthusiasm the Nigerian people have shown. I'm also encouraged at the fact that people believe that this present commission has what it takes, has the presence of mind, and also has the courage to make their votes count. And we are not going to disappoint Nigerians in relation to this.
All right, I want to say many thanks to you, Mr. Festus Okoye, Chairman, Voter Education of the Independent National Electoral Commission, for your time here on Newsday. Thank you for your time.